Hey guys, it's Terry with Good Dog Coaching and Pet Care again, here with Charlie. And Charlie's here for a 4-week board and train. And if you saw his intro video, you know a little bit about him. So we're going to start with some basic obedience. Basically, we're going to start with some sit drills and down drills. And he has had some training already, so he kind of knows these things, but we're going to make sure that he really knows them. We're doing marker training. In this case, I'm using a clicker for him. Sometimes, it depends on the dog, but sometimes I use a marker word like yes, and instead of the clicker, or sometimes I use the clicker. It just depends on the dog, verbatim. But anyway, a marker training basically means at the moment he does the thing that I like, I mark it with the clicker. Initially, you charge up the clicker by clicking and giving them a piece of food, clicking and giving them a piece of food. You repeat that over and over, and they start to learn this sound means food's coming. All right? So, yeah, there, little delayed reaction, but good boy. So that's what we're going to do, and we will, pretty quickly wean him off of this. But food training is just a really great way to motivate the dog. Kind of speeds things up a little. Important to know, it's different from treat training. We don't treat train, we food train. So there are no treats involved, it's all his daily kibble actually is what we're using. With treats, if you're feeding your dog their dog food and then you're giving them treats on top of that and you're trying to use treats to train them, they may or may not be motivated because, hey, they know, if they don't want to do what you want them to do, there's going to be food in their bowl later. So it's not quite as motivating. So that's why we don't do that. We do the food training. Charlie's already had 2 pretty hefty walks today, too, to burn off some energy. But he's actually a pretty, so far, he's only been here like a day, medium energy dog. He's not super high energy that I've seen. But, he is getting walked. So we're just going to start with some sit drills, and I just wanted to show you that. When, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the leash initially to get him into a sit. As soon as his bottom hits the ground, I'm going to click and then give him some food, okay? As we start to build up the time that he remains in the sit, if he starts to get out of the sit, I'm going to mark that with a word, wrong, okay? It's not a correction, it's just a word that lets him know that he got it wrong. And then I'm going to repeat the command, or, use the leash again to get him back in the sit, and then I'll start adding the command, the actual word. So, let's go. Sit. Okay, so I was a little late on the click there. I wasn't holding it in the right hand. So, let me get situated. Okay, getting ahead of myself here. This is the wrong. Sit. Good. All right, there we go. Let's go. So, when you're doing this, and I'm going around in a circle here because I want to stay, in range of the camera. Sit. Good. Normally what I do is I take 2 steps, stop, and have the dog sit. Let's go. Take 2 steps, stop, and have the dog sit. Just like that, in a drill-like fashion. That's what really helps them kind of, as you've heard me say before, get it in their brain. If you walk too many steps, it's not as effective. Take a couple, stop, make them sit, right? Let's go. Sit. Good. Let's go. Sit. So I'm clicking the moment his bottom hits the ground, all right? Marking that moment, that's what I wanted. Let's go. Sit. Good. Okay? We've done a few of these. Let's go. Sit. Good. Let's go. Sit. Good. Now, I can use the leash. I've got a leash and prong collar on him. I can use that if I need to. And, again, he's had some training before, so he knows this a little bit. But if he didn't, so this would be wrong. Sit. Good. So sit means sit, it doesn't mean down. All right? And why that's important. A lot of owners think, oh, well, it's good. Look, he's laying down. I didn't ask him to lay down. I asked him to sit. And I want him to learn to do the thing that I've asked him to do. That's really important because, later on down the road, if he's doing something that he shouldn't, and I say no, and he doesn't take me seriously because I haven't been wrong, sit, good, consistent in reinforcing the command that I've asked of him. Yeah, it's some gray area there, and that's where you can get in trouble. You have to be consistent with what you're asking, and they have to do what you're asking. Let's go. Sit. Okay, so that's a common mistake that owners let their dogs get away with. They think, oh, well, it's great, he's laying down. No, that's not what you asked for. Okay, let's go. Good. Sit. Leash pressure. Good. So the leash and collar is there to guide him and to get him to do it a little faster also if I need him to. Let's go. Sit. Good. Let's go. So this is what it's like. Sit. Good. It's not real glamorous. Let's go. Sit. And know that it can take, let's go, thousands of these for the dog to fully understand, sit, what it means, okay? Good. What sit means. And in our case, sit means sit down and stay there until I release you. I think I just pulled it quicker. Okay, so I have a backup. Good job, buddy. Also, with the sit, it's not just sit for a second and get up. You have to build in some distractions. Wrong, sit. So, also, I want him to sit where I asked him to sit. Sit. Good. All right. Be able to move around, and unless he hears me say, let's go, he shouldn't get out of that sit. Good. So I'm marking the fact that he's wrong, sit. He's staying in the sit while I'm moving around. Let's go. Good. Okay. So part of teaching and training your dog, sit, is teaching them that no matter what's going on around them, they have to continue to do the command or behave in a certain way that you've taught them. Break. Good boy. Okay, so this is just the beginning for Charlie. Let's go. So it's real basic. Sit. Good boy. But we will, as he gets better and he's here longer and we've done thousands of these, we'll be throwing in lots of different distractions, the other dogs walking around, what have you. We'll be doing this inside, outside, we'll be taking him on field trips and practicing what he's learned here at those places. It's important to know that when you take your dog to a different environment or you add in distractions, it's more challenging for them. So yeah, they're going to make mistakes. Also too, when you go, somewhere to a new environment, let's say you're teaching them to sit, you might not initially ask them to sit for as long or down for as long as you would. You want to click and reward and then build up, the duration back up a little bit in that new and challenging environment. So keep that in mind. Those are things that oftentimes frustrate owners because they just don't know. They don't know better. So anyway, wrong. Sit. Good. Charley. This is Charley, and he's going to be with us for 4 weeks. And stay tuned for his progress. All right? Again, Terry with Good Dog Coaching and Pet Care. If you have any questions, wrong. Sit. You can post in the comment section or email me at info@gooddogcoaching.com. info@gooddogcoaching.com. Take care. Let's go.